If you don't know this man, he's a gospel singer in Ghana. I don't want to use the word was. KODA is his name. Right from the time he was born, he was raised strictly. He got married as a virgin at age 30.
Oh, I was 30.
Never cheated on his wife.
Apart from
Never smoked in his life. Never took in alcohol in his entire life. He never engaged in any form of vice, both as a child and as an adult. He dedicated his life fully to the service of God. But his life was taken, unfortunately, by a heartbreaking incident of suspected medical negligence. I'll be honest, I have a lot of questions, but I also have a lot of life lessons that I've picked from the life of KODA. Because first of all, from the moment KODA was a young child to the day he took his last breath, his life has always been about God. He was raised in a kind of household that many people would describe as too strict. According to him, he was never allowed to go out and play, climb trees, or do anything of that sort.
Oh, maybe I make say like my hobbies horrible because that and share down mommy chance my many other kids area where interactive papa.
If he ever stepped out of the house, it's either he was going to school or church. And from wherever he went to, which is the school or the church, he came straight right home. There was no going out anywhere. But that is where it gets interesting for me, because when he became an adult, he didn't decide that, oh, let me now do all the things I didn't get a chance to do when I was a child. He remained in his training. In fact, when Kofi of Kofi TV heard the account of how KODA grew up and how his life has always been, he concluded that it must be boring.
Sorry. Guitar. No, very boring.
But this is where also it gets very interesting, because KODA thought of this entirely differently. He saw and focused on the positive sides of his upbringing and embraced it fully. According to him, being raised so strictly kept him out of trouble.
But the positive thing about it is that it kept me away from trouble.
And indeed, that helped him to maintain great discipline in life when he became an adult and not involve himself in anything that was detrimental to his career, reputation, or his belief as a Christian. Now, what can we learn from this? Focus on the positives of your upbringing and just let the negatives slide away. The truth is that no parent is perfect. No matter how flawless they try to be, when you are growing up, you begin to notice certain inconsistencies and certain faults in your upbringing, which most certainly were mistakes they made while trying to raise you. But the truth also is that when you become a young adult, the onus now lies on you to turn your life into what you want it to be. KODA's life shows us that the best way to approach this is to focus on picking the positives from this upbringing and build on them. He could have decided that, oh, because he was raised in such a strict environment and was not allowed to network as a child, it was not very helpful to him, and he could become timid and blame his timidity on that. But he didn't allow any negatives that were associated with that upbringing affect him. He rather picked only the positives, which is the discipline, the focus in life, and learning to stay out of trouble. So don't look at what your parents did not do for you, and don't look at what they did to you. Instead, just pick what they did for you and build on that. As for me, I've told you. The second thing about KODA, the gospel musician whose passing broke many hearts, is that he was born in Takoradi, a city in Ghana. For primary school, he went to Services Primary in Takoradi. For basic school, he went to Chapel Hill JHS in Takoradi. For senior high school, he went to Infamtipim, which is in Cape Coast, not too far from Takoradi. And after that, he went to KNUST, Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, which is in Kumasi, not very far from Takoradi. After school, guess where he went to? Your guess is as good as mine. He came back to Takoradi, and that is where he has lived and made all his impact.
Takoradi had nothing in your life. Maybe you Takoradi, you Chapel Hill, Bronubi or Takoradi. That may call Services Primary Takoradi. That may call Chapel Hill GSS Takoradi. That may call Fancy Cape Coast. That may call Tech Kumasi.
He actually had a very adventurous career, traveling in and out of Ghana, working with some of the most renowned musicians in Ghana and outside, and making his impact felt all around him and beyond his territory. What can we learn from this? You can make all the impact you want to make in this life, or you need to make in this life, or you are destined to make in this life from wherever you are. Most people, especially we African youth, tend to think that if we don't escape our geographical location, we cannot fulfill our potential potential and bear fruit to the maximum. Now, this is not to say that there are not certain instances where there are better opportunities in other geographical locations that you can live and go and explore. But even if you fall in that category, but you don't get a chance to travel and go and chase after those opportunities, you don't fold your arms and sit aloof and count yourself underprivileged because you didn't get that chance to go out there. You can actually strive right where you are and make your impact felt, because the most important resources of the 21st century, which are the internet, your 24 hours, and the freedom to pursue your dreams, are all at your disposal. And KODA's life shows that you can use them to fulfill all your dreams. So don't limit yourself. Make your impact felt. You can and you should. As for me, I've told you. By the way, this is Eqay Inspire YouTube channel, and on this channel, what we do is extract crucial life lessons from important life stories. If you're new here, click the subscribe button below, turn on the notification bell so that whenever we post a new video, you will get notified. One of the recent videos we shot was about the tremendous Ghanaian player Mohammed Kudus, and 4 things about his mindset and personality that might just make him Ghana's greatest player, or at least one of the greatest players Ghana has ever had. But it doesn't stop there. As usual, we extracted crucial life lessons from that you can apply in your own life. You can click right here to watch that video for yourself. Back to the video. Number 3, KODA, the amazing Ghanaian gospel musician who hails from Takoradi, got the opportunity to start playing instruments right when he was a child. That is where his music career actually started from. But how it happened is not what you would expect. The opportunity that was given to him was actually snatched from a group of people. So this group of people were actually older in the church, and they were supposed to be playing instruments, but they had gotten so good, they had developed attitude. And so the church sat down and decided to do away with all of them and bring in a new batch of people, younger people, to train. And KODA was part of these people.
I saw Benifono by Sunday school. No, I say, fresh stock. To 20 of us. No, so that's how it started for me.
KODA said that if those people had not developed pride, it probably would have never gotten to his turn to learn and start his music career as a child, because these adults we are talking about were really proficient.
As one day now, Benifono and they be a program. Like, let's be real. If the Benifono were there is no way.
But it turns out none of them was able to grow that career and that talent to the kind of height that KODA did. What can we learn from this? If you are super talented at anything, be careful, because pride limits very talented people from the full expression of their potential. No matter who you are or where you are from, I am sure you've heard a story or seen an account of somebody somewhere who was really talented in something. Everybody thought they were going to make it big, but all of a sudden pride took over and they fell into nothing. So if you find yourself really good at anything, be careful. If you have a child who is a prodigy or a paragon, raise them with special attention. Nip the pride in the bud before it makes them turn out bad. Because according to KODA, but for the strictness of his parents, coupled with the extreme intimacy he developed with God, which kept him humble, he could have easily developed pride as well and fallen off like his seniors did. No wonder the good book said, if anyone thinks he stands, he should take heed lest he falls. As for me, I've told you. Lesson 4. KODA, the Ghanaian musician who lived an inspirational life. At one point in his life, had 6 different women saying that God had spoken to them that he was their husband. 6 different women.
There were like 6 ladies.
This makes me want to question what we interpret as the voice of God anyway. But if you think about it, it's possible that all these 6 ladies had probably certain dreams they interpreted as revelations from God. But the twist is, KODA did not have any such revelation about any of them. So what did he do? He did not even hear from God directly that none of them was his wife. So what did he do? He fell back to the principles that he had set for himself around dealing with women and the kind of partner he wanted. And so he turned down all 6 ladies and later found a wife. What can we learn from this? You need to develop life principles that guide you through your life, even through the times when you may not clearly hear from God regarding what you should do. After all, Jesus never said that it is for the lack of hearing from God that we perish. He said it is for the lack of knowledge that we perish. So if you can equip yourself with enough knowledge about how to live your life and set principles for yourself to guide you through life. You might not need to hear audibly from God before you make great and right decisions for yourself. So learn to build your life on solid universal principles and solid faith-based principles, because these will guide you through trials and temptations in life. As for me, I've told you, KODA, the Ghanaian artist from Takoradi who dedicated his life to the service of God as a musician, produced songs for other people which ended up performing way better than his own songs, but he counted it all joy.
So when people win, when Dynadems win awards and that kind of thing, it makes me so excited.
He never for one moment felt that because he produced those songs, he deserved the recognition. Because most of the time, he actually made a lot of additions. Some of the time, the song that he ended up with was way different from what they started with. So it was, at the end of the day, his own work for the most part. But when the artists he make the songs for end up winning awards for the songs and all, he actually draws fulfillment for the fact that he made those additions to the songs rather than feeling that he rather deserved those awards. In addition to that, he was always content with how far his own songs reached, even if the songs he makes for other people go farther than his own songs.
It's a gradual thing, and
not having a great hit is not a problem for you.
I think God has done well. I'll be grateful.
What can we learn from this? Be genuinely happy for the people around you and their growth. Find genuine reasons to celebrate when the people around you win. They could be your close companions or your work relations. It is more blessed to be surrounded by winners than to be the only winner surrounded by losers. Don't allow envy and jealousy to blind you from seeing this and appreciating the growth of the people around you, because some of that will surely rub off on you in one way or the other. And even if it doesn't, just find fulfillment and joy in the fact that you also know people who are winning and you can even learn a thing or two from their life. As for me, I've told you, lesson number 6. KODA, the Ghanaian musician who left an indelible mark in the music industry, made a statement I initially considered strange, and it regards what he considers to be the right mindset for Christians to have when worshiping God. He said that if you are serving God with the mind that you would attain certain blessings from him, you will be disappointed. That was a very bold and controversial statement to an extent. But he explained that worshiping God should be solely aimed at attaining righteousness, peace, and joy in the Holy Ghost. When I pondered over these words for a while, I understood what he meant. Because although the word says that if you seek him first and his kingdom, all other things will be added unto you, if you are seeking him because you want all other things to be added, then you're actually seeking all the other things to be added rather than him. Do you understand? But if you are seeking him for the righteousness, peace, and joy in the Holy Ghost, which is you are seeking him because of him, then you are really seeking him, and then all the other things can now be added. What can we learn from this? Don't seek God for his blessings. Honestly, I'm one person who believes that God actually has endowed many of us with so many blessings in our lives that we just put aside and still ask him for those same blessings that are already planted in our lives. If most people can just open their eyes, look for the opportunities around them, tap into them, work hard, pursue goals that they set for themselves, they will not need to ask God for blessings, especially when it comes to the basic ones. So what I want you to learn from this is that work hard towards the breakthroughs and the blessings that you want in your life, instead of seeking God because of those blessings. If you want to seek God, seek him because of him, not because you want anything from him, because that is what will actually move him to pour out his blessings upon you. As for me, I've told you, KODA, the Ghanaian gospel musician whose songs are bound to continue making impact for many years to come, shared a rather devastating story of how medical negligence caused extreme harm to his health and his physical body to the point of death. According to him, he was given a wrongful medication and he was on this medication for 8 months and over. This really took a toll on him and is suspected to be the main reason behind his unfortunate, untimely demise.
I started developing some funny symptoms
When he recounted this story himself, he mentioned a lesson from it that he was going to apply for the rest of his life, and which is the lesson I want you to also apply to the rest of your life. Here it goes. Never solely rely on an expert for anything that affects your health or any important aspect of your life.
So this was my resolve since that day. I will not disrespect nurses or disrespect pharmacists. I will not disrespect doctors, but I can't take your word for it anymore.
Let me repeat that. Never rely solely on an expert for anything that affects your health or any important aspect of your life. I feel like repeating this 5 different times. Now listen to what they say. I'm not saying you should throw away their advice. Listen attentively to everything they say, but conduct your own independent research to verify every information you are given to ensure that you are making the right decision. Apply this principle not only when you go into the hospital, when you go for counseling, when you go for mentorship programs, or anything that gives you certain information or certain product that you can apply to yourself and can affect your life. Don't let anything that can have a significant effect on you be left completely to another person, even if you trust that they are an expert. We lost a strong, formidable, inspirational, tremendous, amazing man because of this, and it should be the last time, guys. Let's learn from it so that none of us will fall victim again. It's too painful, and I actually entreat you to share this video. Even if you just cut this portion and share, I'm okay, because we should all learn from this. So that has been it for today. 7 lessons from the life of the remarkable gospel musician KODA. Let's recount. The first thing we learned was focus on the positives from your upbringing and throw away the negatives. Build on the positives. Don't blame your parents for anything they did or did not do inadvertently that affected you. You have the chance and the choice to build on the positives they're giving you and become the best of yourself. Lesson number 2, you can make great impact in the world from wherever you are. Don't feel like you are limited by your geographical location, because you are not. Lesson number 3, super talented people stand the risk of having their potential limited because of pride. If you are very talented with anything or in anything, or if you have a child or you know anyone who is very talented, make sure they don't fall off because of pride. Groom them well and it will take them far. Lesson number 4, develop principles that will guide you in life, even in times when you may not hear from God audibly or clearly, because it is for the lack of knowledge that my people perish. Lesson number 5, be genuinely happy for the excellence, the growth, and the wins of the people who are close to you. Be happy. Lesson number 6, don't seek God because of his blessings. If you do that, you are seeking blessings. You are not seeking God, and you might be disappointed. And lesson number 7, never rely solely on the advice of an expert for something that affects your health or any important aspect of your life. Conduct your independent research and make sure you verify every information you are given. That has been it for today. Before you leave, check the description of this video and you'll find a link to our Telegram channel, also a link to our WhatsApp channel. Join these 2 channels and stay in touch. And until I see you again in the next video, remember that life always gives us episodes of chaos and peace. But after each episode, you should pause and ask yourself, what can I learn from this?